Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Fall Obsession podcast episode. My name is Sam Thrash. I'm your host. Thanks for joining. Before we get to our episode, I want to hit something real quick and point you guys in the direction of our website, fallobsession.com, and our 2025 turkey hunt competition. Right now, registration is open, and the best part about it is you guys can hunt from anywhere in the country, your normal turkey hunting ground. All you have to do is kill your bird, register it in the competition. You could win money, you could win gear from Hoot Camo, Wiley X, VP Archery, a hunt from News on Safaris, a ton of different stuff on the table and up for grabs right here through the winnings for the top three finishers of the contest. And then we have two different sweepstakes running alongside of this competition that you can pick up tickets for at registration. Go to fallobsession.com/hunt-competition if you are interested in registering and signing up for our 2025 turkey hunt competition. You don't want to miss out. It's an awesome time and a chance to take home some cool stuff. If you guys enjoy listening to our podcast, then please hit that follow or subscribe button, whatever they have up there for you guys. Be sure that your notifications are turned on if that's an option. That way you know every Monday when we put out a new podcast episode. Go to fallobsession.com to check out all of our different avenues of content. We have shows, podcasts, films, gear reviews, educational articles. You can pick up some apparel from that website as well. All sorts of stuff stems through that website, so head on over and check it out. Go on over to the YouTube and subscribe over there as well, because in addition to this podcast and the podcast videos being on our YouTube channel, we also have our films and our shows and different productions that we put together here at Fall Obsession on that channel, and it's free to subscribe to, so make sure that you guys do that. Follow us on social media, all the major platforms. We are active on there. And make sure that you are streaming our shows on Carbon TV as well. Carbon TV is like Netflix for hunting, except it's free for you guys. Can't beat it. You can stream all sorts of different hunting shows and podcasts and films from there, including 4 different shows that we at Fall Obsession produce. This podcast, our staff-inspired video podcast series called Couch Chats is on there, as well as our 2 different hunting shows titled Texas Dirt and Midwest Mindset. Guys, make sure that you download the Carbon TV app, put it on your smart TV, or just pull it up on your computer and start streaming today. All right, we're going to get into this week's conversation. Thanks for tuning in. You are listening to another Fall Obsession podcast.
Oh, you got her, dude. She's down.
Let's go.
Dude, I just shot a deer of a lifetime.
Freaking smoked him.
One with nature, and if you're a believer, one with God.
Definitely gets your heart pumping. Boy, you are in trouble.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Fall Obsession podcast. My name is Sam, hosting you guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm flying solo this week for our 230th episode. Been about 10 episodes or so since I did a solo podcast. You guys, if you're a returning listener, know the drill. I get on here and give some updates, some personal perspective, that kind of stuff from time to time through these solo podcasts, and get some good feedback from you guys, and I always appreciate that. Appreciate you guys listening. But yeah, we've done 230 of these things, and that's kind of crazy to think about, because it does not seem like that long ago that myself and Nick Powell were sitting in the cab of a pickup truck recording our first few podcast episodes. Episode 100 that I recorded with our administrative team here at Fall Obsession. That was memorable for sure. And yeah, it just seems like yesterday almost that I recorded episode 200 with Johnny Mac from Soul Seekers. And here we are, almost a third of the way to 300 already. Time just absolutely flies by. So we're obviously going to keep it going. We have been. No plans on changing that. Life happens sometimes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this episode. This episode might be a little bit of a shorter one, because I told you guys I don't want my solo podcast to just be fillers, necessarily just an episode to have an episode. I want it to have some intention and purpose behind it as far as what I'm discussing. But yeah, life has happened pretty hard here lately, and had a lot of stuff going on, and it has affected Fall Obsession and the podcast and everything. And through that avenue, obviously, affecting you guys. There was a couple weeks ago, I did not have a podcast episode to release. I was actually our guest last week, John Kessler. He was actually scheduled to record with me a week earlier than he did, and man, I got sick. Like, I don't ever get sick, but I got sick. Like, body aches, chills. It was flu like something is what it felt like, and I was down for the count, and I had to postpone my episode with John, and that led to us not having a show that week. And I always hate that. I hate it when we're recording almost week to week like that. I like to have some episodes banked. That way, if stuff like that happens, we can still give you guys some content. But anyway, that occurs sometimes, and that happened, and that's why we had a gap earlier in the month of March, where we didn't have a new podcast for y'all. But we got John on the show. We had a great conversation last week. It's a great episode. You guys should go check it out if you have the chance to. John is a guide in Colorado, guides mainly like fishing, elk, mule deer hunts, that kind of stuff. Awesome dude. Had him on the show because he originally commented on one of our reels earlier in the year on TikTok, talking about the wolf situation and the current conservation climate in Colorado. We had a healthy discussion in the comment section and then in the messenger section of TikTok, and then it was like, man, what the heck? Why not have this guy on the show? He seems like he's pretty squared away and knows his stuff and is paying attention to what's going on in his state. So that's what led to us getting him in here and everything, and it was a great episode. We talked some conservation, we talked some hunting, got a little bit of an insight into what it's like being a guide in Colorado, which was pretty cool. But he's a great guy, great episode. Go listen to 229 if you haven't already. But yeah, it's podcasting is fun in that regard. You get to meet some really, really cool people, and I certainly have gotten to do that through this show, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I've made a lot of friends that I probably wouldn't even know or have had a single conversation with otherwise if it weren't for the podcast. And it's a pretty cool tool just for life in general and friendships in that regard, and I'm grateful for it. I have gone recently, and I did want to talk about this I've been calling it my conservation crusade. I did not plan this. I did not plan to have a bunch of episodes here recently that were talking about wildlife conservation, hunters' rights, bans on hunting, and all that kind of stuff. But that's how it shook out. It kind of started last year. We had several episodes in the 100s that were conservation related. I'll highlight episode 181 where John Stallone and Mike Costello from How for Wildlife came on the show. That was before the vote on Proposition 127 in Colorado, and that was a big topic of that conversation, was the mountain lion situation there in Colorado and everything that was revolving around that. And then early 200s, I think it's episode 207, I had Dan Gates from CRWM on the show, again, right before the vote for that proposition, to talk about what CRWM has been doing and what hunters need to do and that whole situation, the pros and cons of this thing getting passed, not passing. We did not want it to pass because it would effectively, it's a hunting ban is what it is. And then we did our episode 225, which was our normal episode that we do annually with our own Western Regional Coordinator, Tim Burgess, talking about just the different tag options and draw application options for Colorado this year. Tim does that every year. He puts together an awesome package for us every year that we put on our website, and we do a podcast about it, talking about the changes for Colorado, because Colorado, for somebody coming in for the first time and trying to apply for a license or tag or draw, it can be a little confusing, and Tim does a great job of breaking that down and kind of giving you an idea on exactly what you need to get certain tags and that kind of stuff. So we do that episode every year. One of those reels from that episode is what John Kessler saw, so that led to episode 229 being a thing. And then episode 226, I had John Stallone from Hal back on the show again to talk about kind of the wolf reintroduction, what that reintroduction from several years ago has now led to, and the issues that are being caused by that, and how Hal for Wildlife in particular is working to use the ballot box in our favor and try to end the wolf reintroduction process. Basically, it would be on the 2026 November ballot for Colorado, and it would effectively put an end to, I believe it's Proposition 114, that was originally that wolf reintroduction. Hey guys, sorry to cut y'all off from the conversation. We'll get back to it in just a second, but first I want to tell you guys about Hoot Camo. Hoot Camo is one of the best camouflage brands out there for the blue-collar hunter. The prices, you can't beat them. The patterns are extremely versatile. They work in so many different environments. I have worn Hoot Camo hunting whitetails, hogs, and turkeys down here in the hardwoods, the mesquites, the scrub brush of Texas. I've worn it in the flatland plains of eastern Colorado hunting mule deer. I've even worn it in the mountains of central Idaho hunting elk. It works in so many different places. It is extremely high quality gear, extremely warm, holds up well against the elements. You cannot beat it. Go to hootcamo.com, use the code FallObsession15 on your next order, no matter how big or small it is, and check out everything that Hoot Camo has on there for you guys. Guys like John Kessler that came on the show, who's just an avid Coloradan outdoorsman, hunter, angler, guide, who pays attention. His concerns with that is, well, there's no management plan in place for these wolves, regardless of what happens with that vote in 26. So you can stop wolves, but by the time that rolls around, this is how many wolves we're going to have on the ground already, and there's still not going to be a better management plan in place to deal with that. So that's why John shared some of his concerns and stuff with that, and it's very interesting to follow. I don't want to neglect mentioning it before I move on, but episode 228 also, for the Rocky Mountain Goat Alliance, we had Kendrick Chittick from that organization on the podcast to talk about some great work that they're doing there on a species unrelated to wolves and mountain lions, but that is overlooked, in my opinion, just in your normal conservation outlook, I think, and some very interesting information in that episode regarding a species that is a bucket list hunt for a lot of people, but you don't really realize kind of the efforts that are having to be made to help that species stay for years and years to come. And that's a perfect example of how the reasons that we have game animals, regardless of where you're at in the country. You can be down here in Texas with me and have whitetail and pigs and all this turkeys, all the stuff we have down here. You could be out west where you have mule deer and elk and pronghorn and all these other animals, in the mountains where you have mountain goats, etc. The reason that these animals are here is because of hunters and conservationists. And hunters are typically conservationists. You don't have a group of people who are pro-animal but anti-hunting that are systemically and in a very general sense maintaining these populations, and then hunters are just going out there and killing them. That's not how this works. You have a group of outdoorsmen who are passionate about preserving the long-term impacts and stability for hunting for future generations, and those are the people who are protecting and managing and taking charge and dominion over these animal species through conservation efforts. And I think that's very important. I think that's something that an outsider looking in doesn't necessarily realize, and we can't take it for granted. We truly can't. We also cannot, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, and then I'm going to move on and not keep dragging you guys into my conservation crusade. But we have to pay attention. We cannot neglect to observe what is going on in every state around us, including ours and others. What happens in Colorado, and I've said this before, what happens over there impacts me over here. Does it change my hunting license, how many tags I get, what animals are on my property? No, it does not. But I hunt Colorado. I want to go back. I want to do it again. Other people hunt Colorado. And if Colorado loses rights as hunters, then that's going to have an impact on every state around them in multiple senses. One, you're going to have hunters that used to be able to hunt Colorado now trying to go to other states. And at first, that might be a good thing. Like you might have other states that see an influx in revenue and everything. But if you start oversaturating other states with hunters, at that point, other hunting opportunities are going to start having to be regulated in the name of conservation and everything. And then you are going to start seeing other states who might be more left-leaning with their politics. I'm not here to talk about politics, but anti-hunting. And all of a sudden they're going to look at Colorado like, oh man, well, this is how they got this passed and they got rid of this or they got rid of that. We can do something similar. And you're going to see that trickle-down effect. And I'm going to butcher it. I shouldn't even try to formally say it the way that it's written, but I need to ask Johnny Mac about this because he's the one who has this like at the front of his brain, on the tip of his tongue all the time. But if they came for somebody else and no one was there to speak up or stand up, so when they finally came for me, there was no one to speak up or stand up, and I know I butchered that, but that's essentially what it comes down to, is if we don't support one another, support these conservation organizations that are actively working to protect hunters' rights and protect animals, then in my opinion, we are doing nothing to contribute to the future of hunting and the stability of hunting. Me right now, I want my son and my kids to be able to hunt if they want to. And to do that, I need to ensure that hunting is here to stay. And I do that by supporting organizations who are at that table and who have the ability to have an impact. Hey folks, if you guys are in the North Texas area like I am, then you need to go to Bear River Archery and Pro Shop in Van Alstyne, Texas. Justin and the guys up there have an incredible operation set up. They will take great care of you and all of your archery needs. They are the official bow shop in North Texas of Fall Obsession. I love going there, and I'm picky. If you guys know me, I am very selective on who I let work on my bow. I will let Justin work on my bow. They do great stuff. Check out Bear River Archery and let them know that Fall Obsession sent you. My point is this: pay attention. Pay attention to what is going on in the United States and North America when it comes to hunting and conservation. Your state should be number one. You should know exactly, as a hunter, I feel like it is your responsibility to know exactly how your state runs when it comes to the Fish and Game Department, the Wildlife Commission, however it is structured. You need to understand how your state runs, how the decisions are made, who makes those decisions, and you need to pay attention to the decisions that are being made. And when those decisions should be questioned, you need to step up as a hunter and outdoorsman and question them in the appropriate sense. And then support organizations that are doing the same at a larger scale. Howl for Wildlife has some great resources on their website. I want to point you guys in that direction. Howl for Wildlife is not paying me right now to say this. I am saying this just as your everyday hunter. On their website, they have different actions, different things that they are currently and actively involved in, and you guys can go look at their website and see all of those things and be able to kind of get a grasp on what is going on throughout the country at different scales. I send John stuff all the time. I will see, a hog hunting ban in Kentucky, or here lately a recent thing in Texas was there was a proposed bill to basically take a lot of the wildlife management out of the hands of the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. And it was kind of an interesting proposal, but I saw a lot of issues in it if it got passed. And thankfully the bill died pretty early, and it's not a thing. But something like that popped up, and I text it to John. It's like, hey man, just heads up. I'm watching this, but this is developing, and so. But anyway, pay attention, guys. That's our responsibility as hunters. We have to do that. We can't ignore it. We have to. All right, so enough with the conservation crusade. I'm not going to promise you that there won't be more conservation related episodes coming in the future. I will tell you that at the time I'm recording this, I don't have any more on the books. We're switching gears. We're getting into some other stuff for our show and our podcast and our brand. Spring is here. It's turkey hunting time. We got a lot of awesome turkey hunting opportunities coming up across the country. I know that our staff is either has already been out there in the woods hunting, or they're waiting on their season to open with anticipation. Season's open down here in Texas. I haven't gone out and chased any birds yet, but next week we're actually having a fall obsession hunt down here in Texas. We're going to have a bunch of people from our team across the country coming out. I got Kess, one of our guys up in Indiana, he's coming down. Some of our Texas guys are coming out. We might have another guest out there or so. But I don't know how many hogs we're necessarily going to be able to get on, because my hogs are still being a little sketchy, but we have some turkeys out there. We got plenty of coyotes. So we're going to have a good time shooting some yotes and some turkeys and hopefully a few hogs with a weekend on Texas dirt with the Fall Obsession folks. So you guys can definitely expect some videos, some podcasts, some content coming from that. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun time hanging out with these guys. Yeah, it's going to be great. But turkey season's here. I hope you guys are out there chasing birds right now. If you are, I know I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast in the intro, the turkey hunt competition. You guys got to get in on that. It's so much fun, and it's great that we can accept birds from anywhere across the country, any species of turkey at that. We've built like a scoring system of our own that's as neutral as we can. So that it can accommodate any bird and any turkey species from any part of the country. So, guys, go to the website. Like I said, fallobsession.com. I won't turn this into an ad, but you guys got to get in on the hunt competition. It's a good time. Hey guys, Trophy Edits is a Fall Obsession podcast partner. We all have mounts on our walls that represent a significant moment, a significant harvest in the woods for each and every one of us, and photographs can do the same. I'm sure you guys have pictures from years past hunting with loved ones or being in the woods with family and friends that also represent those big moments. And what Trophy Edits does is they showcase those moments for you guys. Just absolutely make your pictures explode, and to the level that you guys can put them on the wall and also have that memory forever represented in your home, your office, your man cave, whatever it might be. Give Trophy Edits a chance to do the work for you guys. And again, they make those pictures just absolutely awesome with their professional team of editors. So go to Trophy Edits website. The link is in the podcast description. That lets them know that you guys came from us. And use the code FALLOBSESSION at checkout to save you guys some money. But in addition to turkey hunting, we definitely have a lot of work to be done right now, because the prep for fall deer hunting, like, it starts now, and I am behind. I say that every year, and it kills me every year, but I am behind. And I'll talk a little bit about why I am behind. I don't want to sound like I'm just a lazy outdoorsman, even though sometimes I feel like it, but I mentioned at the beginning, life hits pretty hard and fast sometimes, and that's definitely been the feeling here at the Thrash House here lately. So you guys know, I mentioned earlier, the missing the week on the podcast and everything, but you guys know that I don't get a paycheck from Fall Obsession. Like, all of us that work here right now, we invest any revenue that the brand makes back into the brand to continue to grow the brand, and we all volunteer our time to Fall Obsession. We all have full-time jobs outside of our organization. We all have families and other obligations and everything. I got 2 kids. I got a son that's almost 7 and my daughter's 5. So it's busy times for sure. And then on top of that, we had some other things happen in our life. My wife just got diagnosed with Lyme's disease, actually 2 different strains of it. I did not know that there are 24 different strands of Lyme's disease out there. I did not know that they can also be transmitted by mosquitoes, even fleas in some rare senses, and a couple of rare strains, I guess, are even airborne, is what I've heard. Which the mosquito option is where we think she contracted it, was because she gets bit by mosquitoes all the time. But that's been kind of an adjustment and something that we're trying to navigate right now because she's in. There's the doctors are suspecting that she got bit or contracted it last year sometime, and she's currently in the late stages for Lyme's disease right now. So there's a treatment option that we're doing. It's called the Q restrain therapy. It's I don't speak science very well, and I apologize because I'll butcher this as well. But there's a hospital in Chicago that has been working with a lab in Greece for 10 or 20 years now to treat patients with Lyme's disease. And that hospital in Chicago started working with other healthcare providers throughout the country in recent years to make this treatment and this therapy an option more nationally. So just so happens that the doctor she's going to, that's an hour away from us, is one of those few providers in the country that is doing this treatment. So essentially, they take her blood, they send it to this lab in Greece, and they analyze her DNA, and they build a compound with, like, I mean, basically build a custom treatment for it, send it back, it gets reinfused back into her, and from there it fights the Lyme's disease. Takes like 6 to 8 months, I guess, to like fully kick it if all goes well. And she's got two different strains and has to be treated for each one individually, and they can't be at the same time. So that's an additional extended time frame with that. But just an interesting thing that we're dealing with. She had a lot of unexplained symptoms, like just stabbing pain in her abdomen or on her flanks for no reason, lack of energy. She's been doing all sorts of different workout plans and diets to try and lose weight with no success and no answers as to why isn't this working. And then late stage Lyme's can even affect like the cardiovascular system or start causing like neuropathy type issues where she just has, and she does have that, where she has unexplained just numbness or tingling or sensations in her hands, feet, legs, that kind of stuff. And so she's very uncomfortable right now. And yeah, she's definitely trying to live life as normal as she can, but I mean, by the end of each day, she's pretty beat. We have good days, we have bad days. It just kind of got to take them as they come right now. So that has been a challenge for us right now, and something that definitely, adds another element to life. So we're hopeful and praying that everything goes well, and she gets her first treatment here in a few weeks. So we're excited for that, and hopefully kick this thing and get on with everything. But yeah, so we have that going on, and like I mentioned, I have a full-time job outside of Fall Obsession. I'm a firefighter, and here recently we had a promotional process for work that ended up kind of getting extended out for a longer time frame for some unusual reasons, which I won't get into. But essentially, it seems like for almost 6 months now, I've been studying for this promotional process and to try and promote from the rank of firefighter to the rank of engineer or driver, as some people might be more familiar with it. And yeah, not to dwell on that, but that I was successful as recently as this past week in receiving that promotion and everything. So the testing process was pretty intense, pretty rigorous, and I was very grateful to be able to get through it and to get to the finish line and accomplish the end goal. So got a new journey ahead of me in my career as well. So that's going to be an adjustment and something that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, studying for that and everything, that took a lot of time and energy. Or the other admins here at Fall Obsession can tell you that, because there's definitely been some times where I've haven't quite been on task or anything as I should be, and I'm definitely sorry about that. But I had to put some energy and some time into this if I wanted it to pay off, and thankfully it did. So looking forward to that new opportunity in my career, and now getting back on track with the podcast and the show and Fall Obsession, and hopefully get back in the editing room a little bit and get some of these films and shows that we've been sitting on knocked out, so you guys can start seeing some fresh content. It's going to be good. I'm excited for what's to come and the direction Fall Obsession's going. Our team's growing. New opportunities are frequently coming our way right now to work with some great people and partners in the industry. So yeah, it is exciting times. And I've said this before, like, we announce new partners like on our website or our social media pages whenever they occur, right? And it's easy for people to look at that and be like, oh man, Fall Obsession sold out to whomever, Hoot Camo, Wiley X, whatever it might be. You can think that, but you also don't understand, in my opinion, the work that goes into those partnerships and the relationships that we build to even get to the point to where we're working together. Our brand, I've had a policy personally, just as the owner of this brand, since day one, that we would not partner with anybody just for the sake of partnering with them or having a discount or, making money. If we are going to plug a product or a brand to you guys have heard ads throughout this episode for Hoot Camo, Bear River, Trophy Edits, all that kind of stuff. If we're going to plug a brand, it is going to be because we believe in them. It is going to be because we have actually tested their products. We believe in their products. We find them useful and attainable for the everyday hunter and outdoorsman. That's the goal. That's our mission and our objective when it comes to these partnerships. So when you see us post something about a new partnership with a brand, it's because we believe in that product. And we are telling you that, hey, this works. This is worth your time and your hard-earned money if you are looking for something along these lines. That is why we partner with these companies. And then we also try to give you guys a chance to save money too, like Hoot Camo. You guys can go use the code FALLOBSESSION15 with Hoot and save more money. That's another piece, as we try to, on top of the product in our minds already being attainable to the everyday hunter, we try to make it more attainable for you guys. So we stand by that as a brand, and I hope what you guys see when you see the Fall Obsession logo and the Fall Obsession brand is a company that you can trust, a brand you can trust. You can know that, man, if Fall Obsession uses them, they got to be good. That's the reputation that we're working towards and trying to build and maintain. So I don't really know why I got off on that, but that's something that's very important to me, because authenticity is one of our core values here at Fall Obsession, and that applies to everything that we do, from our content to our partnerships to our brand to our podcast, right? You guys have been sitting here listening to me for half an hour just ramble about conservation and podcasting in my life personally. But this is me. This is what you get. This is the phase in life that I am, and the stuff that I have going on. You can listen if you want to. You don't have to. If you don't like the show, you can turn it off. It's free for you to listen to. So, yeah, authenticity is a big part of what we do here, and I hope you guys find value in that. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the show. Hope you guys are enjoying it. There's so many different places that you guys can tune in to Fall Obsession Podcast, and one of them is the Outdoor Call radio app. Outdoors Dan from Respect the Game TV, he created an app that you can download on any device where you can stream hunting shows and podcasts on a loop every single day. Our show, Fall Obsession Podcast, plays on that loop on Mondays. That's the same day as our new publications on the other apps. And there's also tons of other hunting shows and podcasts on there that you guys can listen to. Go download the Outdoor Call Radio app today. It is free. You can start streaming immediately. And be sure that you follow their Facebook page, because Outdoors Dan does some live radio shows throughout the week. And even if you are not local to those radio stations, his broadcasts are shared on his Facebook Live. It's Outdoors Dan and the Outdoor Call Radio app. Go download it today. So I mentioned at the beginning of this episode that this was going to be a shorter podcast for you guys, and we are nearing the completion in that I have hit the talking points that I originally planned on addressing and discussing with you guys. If you've made it to this point in the episode, I appreciate you tuning in and listening to another solo episode. Next week, as long as my recording schedule stays the same, we're going to have a very, very awesome and fun conversation next week. I have Todd, our staff manager, he's coming back on the show, and Andy Meeks, who's one of our pro staffers up in Minnesota. Andy is one of the best dudes around, and he's a solid blue collar guy. He puts a smile on your face. He's one of those guys that from the second I met him, I felt like I'd known him forever, and he is a great dude. Those two guys just went on a hunt up in North Dakota. I'm having them back on the show to just kind of recap that hunt and just hang out and talk. Like, it's going to be a good time, and it's going to be one of those episodes that you guys feel like you're just sitting in hunting camp with a group of folks. So that episode's coming up, and then a podcast from the Texas Spring Hunt Camp will also be in the near future. So you guys be looking out for both of those. It's going to be a good time. This show is fun. I appreciate you guys continuing to listen to it. I'll close with this. I do these solo podcasts every 10 episodes or so, give or take. It seems like at least that's becoming the routine. If you guys have a topic in particular that you would just like me to kind of break down and casually, I don't want to say ramble on, but dive into in this sense and share on the show, please send it to us. You can go to fallobsession.com/podcast and submit questions, guest recommendations, topic suggestions, all that kind of stuff. You guys can submit it from there, or you can send us an email at info@fallobsession.com, or a message on any of the social media platforms. We check those as well. So if you guys have a topic that you would like us to talk about, or a guest that you want to see us put on the show, please let us know, and we'd love to facilitate that and make that happen. I am very open to feedback. I am very grateful for feedback, and if there's something that we haven't covered that we need to, please let us know. Appreciate it. With that, we are going to conclude episode 230. Thank you guys for listening, and we will be back next week with another Fall Obsession podcast.